Do you like Game Boy games? Do you enjoy the handheld JRPGs of the 90s? How about indie games? Do you enjoy watching the hands on the clock spin faster and faster as the sands of time in your mortal hourglass become fewer and fewer? Well, don't mind that, and come spend a little time with your pal Taylor as we dive into For a Vast Future. Newly released on November 1st of 2022 by Retro, as in retro with an E-A-U-X, not an O Games, who also made a game called Pillars of Dust, which is $6.99 on Steam right now. This game aims for the bit-sized days of the Game Boy. To sum up how this game feels to me, is that it has a presentation like Final Fantasy Legend, aka the Saga games, setting similar to the Metal Max series, with some quirks you would find in a Pokemon game, and a simple battle mechanic of do more than simply attack. Sort of. Kind of. Now, that's not to say there's some heavy thinking involved, but for the middle portions of the game, you'll be juggling resources as the regular attack uses ammo, or using specialized ammo, like the fire, or ice, or explosion, or using war gear. If you did grind, probably won't be an issue for you. I mean, you could do that, but honestly, the game gives a mostly decent effort in balance. Some of the secret fights can be tough, but the leveling system is enough to where you could just fight everything that you come across and stand tall against the final boss. And to note, there's the regular experience points to gain levels, and there's a neat SP gain function where you can choose to level up a certain attribute. So you can actually slightly adjust the leveling up of the characters and stuff, which is pretty nice. It does exponentially scale pretty heavy towards the end of the game, so if anything, that last areas of fights, you'll be gaining tons of SP to the point where every fight or three you'll be able to level up something. It's even that is close to maxing out. The characters aren't really that impactful or memorable, but the main character, Shell, gives me Alice vibes from Phantasy Star 4. The antagonists don't quite hit too hard, but the game, I mean, it did only take me about 8 hours to beat. So I'd file this under the old Saturday morning cartoons as opposed to something that's really going to get your noodle cooking. It's juvenile, but without being insulting. A couple of things to set the table with before you consider dining on this game. The music by Josh Garlitz is enjoyable. I was always looking forward to hear what was coming next, and for a 36-track OST, it does its job, mostly. Some tunes are meh, and there isn't a showstopper, let me put this on a loop for 10 years kind of thing, but it's a mostly good bit of chiptune goodness. The other piece to mention, like I said before about the setting, war-torn lands of a post-pseudo-apocalyptic variety. It has its destroyed bits and a pretty neat glass desert for that extra touch of scarring. Perhaps it is due to the graphical choice, but it doesn't quite hit as high of note as Metal Max did for the NES. In some ways it does, just from a visual standpoint, it's like, oh, that's pretty neat, but it doesn't quite ensnare that emptiness, that dread of emptiness in certain ways. And a little bow to tie on here. The ending's a bit different than what you would expect. At least it was for me, especially what was presented at the beginning. I liked it. It wasn't bad. It was enjoyable. I will say this, if you're looking to dabble back into some JRPG style games that don't take 60, 80, 100, 100,000 bajillion years, this would be a pretty good offering. Maybe even something to present to somebody who doesn't really jump into JRPGs too often. They might find something to like out of this. Like I said before, it is on Steam right now, and it's looking to come out on the Switch sometime in 2023. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and until we meet again, take care.